Welcome, everybody, to the Make Peace with Life podcast. I'm your host, Rob Alex, and thank you for tuning in. This is episode number 3. Won't announce the number every time, but I'm excited that we're just basically launching out on our weekly podcast and getting it rolling and enjoying everything we're doing. Make Peace with Life, again, is a movement. It is a movement to find our happiness, to find our joy, to find the good things in life. And yeah, we have to uncover some bad things, but in essence, we want to get back to finding the happiness in life and making peace with life. As always, I want to invite your comments on any of the shows at Make Peace with Life 33 at gmail.com is our email address that you can send us questions, concerns, maybe an idea for a show. We'd love to hear it from you guys because we're audience-based. We're doing this for you to make everything amazing and bring light to subjects that might not get light brought to them on a regular basis. So as I've went through this, I had a conversation where it was like, if you follow the Make Peace with Life style, journey, however you want to say it, does that mean you never get angry? Do you never get fed up with things? Do you never, blow your top? Yeah, we do. We blow our top. Just the other day, I was in traffic and somebody cut me off, and I unleashed some obscenities, and I was, doing this in the car, like, talking to them with my hands and everything. But after that situation passed, and I moved forward, and I got past that initial shock of being angry about it. Something amazing happened, because then I started to think, well, what could have happened that they did that? I mean, they were driving erratically. They zoomed in front of me real quick, like they were in a super hurry to get somewhere. And then I thought, there could have been a number of things that could have happened that would cause that person to drive like that. Now, obviously, we always want to be safe when we're out driving. Everybody, please be safe while you're driving. But, maybe something happened with that person's child, or, I even thought of maybe, his significant other was in the car with him and she was pregnant and they were going to the hospital, or something bad had happened and they were trying to get there. So I need to set my judgment aside on that as I look back and go, okay, I'm at peace with that now. I'm not going to carry it on into the next realm, if you will. Yeah, sure. You hear all the stories of people, getting cut off in traffic and following that person and getting out and giving them a piece of their mind. That's not necessary. Yes, we all make mistakes. I made a mistake and pulled out in front of somebody the other day myself, and it didn't feel good, and I was sorry, and I was trying to apologize for my car. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. But things happen, and that's just the way life is sometimes. But yes, with the Make Peace with Life movement, it doesn't mean you don't get angry, doesn't mean you don't get upset about things. But the thing about the Make Peace with Life movement is that then you start to soften how you react afterward. You don't keep carrying that anger, that resentment with you as you go forward on your day. And that's where you start making peace with it, knowing that something might have happened, might have just been a mistake for the other person. And this goes on. I mean, I'm talking about traffic here, but this can be in any other things, maybe it's at work, somebody does something that you don't like. Maybe your children do something that makes you upset. It doesn't mean we don't get upset. It doesn't mean we don't have anger. We are human after all. And that is very important piece, that we remain human in that sense, but we learn to let our guard down a little bit. Go, okay, something happened. We're good. I'm good with it. I don't need to follow through. I don't need to be angry about this for hours and hours and hours upon the day. I need to let it go and have peace with it. And that is where the beauty of this movement comes into place, because we don't hang on to those resentments. We don't stay angry at people for things that they've either accidentally done or even if they've done them on purpose, what is the point of holding on to that anger? Because you know what happens when you hold on to anger, when you hold it inside of you for so long, you become that kettle. You know how the kettle, the water kettle on the stove, just a whistle and blow at some time. That's what happens to you. You just keep building up until you can't take it anymore, and you just it just blows out the top of you, and then you do something that is maybe even worse or less well received than what that other person did. So we need to try to learn to relax that stuff, let it go, be at one with the world around us, and to make peace with everything that goes on around us. It doesn't mean that you don't get fired up about it. It doesn't mean that you don't get angry about it. It doesn't mean that things don't upset you. Just again, it focuses on how you react to them and how long you carry that anger, resentment, bad vibes with you along the way, because that's where it hurts you in the long run, by holding on to that, by carrying that and letting it fester. So yes, at Make Peace with Life, we do get angry. We do get upset sometimes. It's part of being human, and we're all human here listening to this podcast. Unless some of the aliens out there are beaming it into their spaceship out there and they're listening, and then, hey, they can still make peace with life too. They're a life form. They have their own set of rules. So it'd be okay if the aliens make peace with life as well. So on to our next topic, and this one is very difficult for a lot of people, and that's asking for help. I know I have a problem with this, is asking for help. I want to do everything. I want to think that I'm the $6 million man, that I can do it all. I can get everything in order. I can figure it out. I can do it all myself. It's not really the case. For one, we can figure it out. We can go about and do things and work our way through them. But why, when there's help out there? Why don't you ask the people who are more experienced, more of an expert at this than what you are, to help you in this progress? Because I'm going to tell you something that probably just, that it took me a while to understand, is that when you ask for help, not only is it good for yourself because you get the expertise, the experience that you don't have on something, but it also helps the person you ask, because it makes them seem important in that situation too. So they're going to feed off of that too. When you ask them for help, they're going to be like, their chest is going to pump up a little bit. They're going to be like, I feel important. I feel validated. I feel great. I love this fact that somebody asked me for help. That makes me feel like a little bit of an expert. And we're all a little bit of an expert in something or other. And that's the beauty of it. I often tell, when I work with a lot of managers, and I often tell them the best managers don't know everything, can't do everything, but they know how to use the talents around them to collectively reach the goal they want. So if you're not good at something at work or at home, get somebody that's better at it than you. I'm not the best cook in the world, so if somebody else comes along and wants to cook, I'm all for that. I'll help them. I'll do the dishes. I'm better at that. I'll do, clean up afterwards. That is more my expertise than necessarily the cooking of something exotic. I can throw something in the microwave and I can throw something in the oven. But when it comes to, making a big meal that's beautiful and well received, that's not my expertise in that situation. So please, don't shy away from asking for help. It's unfortunately been viewed as a weakness. I need help. It's a weakness. And, I'm talking a lot about physical stuff right at the first part of this, but there's also the mental aspect that you need help. Sometimes we hit roadblocks in our mental health that we need help with and need to work through. Back when I was younger, therapy was looked at as like, oh my God, there's something really wrong with you if you go to therapy. And there's nothing wrong with going to therapy. There's nothing wrong with going and talking to somebody about issues you're having, the way you're feeling, the trying to understand why you feel the way you do. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing to have somebody to communicate with that about. And oftentimes, that person isn't necessarily somebody that's really close to you because they might not see it as well. Get somebody that's open-minded and accepting of that to ask for that help and to get an outside opinion. People that know you well often will sugarcoat things for you because they don't want to hurt your feelings, or they want to be accommodating to what you're feeling, and they'll just agree with you, and they'll just make sure that they make you feel good because they agree with you, but it's not, in theory, is not helping you solve the reason that you're having the issue to begin with. So we're getting pretty deep on there. I often do a lot of work with authors, and I often talk to authors about, don't get reviews from family members, don't get reviews from people don't get reviews from your friends, because they're not going to want to hurt your feeling. They're going to say, yeah, it's great, it's wonderful, it's fine. Go get somebody that doesn't have any skin in the game and ask them for the help of your book and see what it is. Now, along with that and getting help from other people, you also have to be accepting of what they're saying. If you're doing some kind of help that in that manner, you want to be accepting of it and not just be like, okay, somebody gives you some constructive criticism on something, you can't just fire off like they don't know what they're talking about. They're trying to help you, and you need to listen and get out of your own mind and let your ego go and understand that, hey, let me look at this objectively and see where it can go from here. And that is one of the beautiful things about asking for help and getting help from others, is that it gives you a stronger bond with them, if you will, especially if somebody if somebody you don't know, it's a little more easy to fit into that. But it's a great way. Asking for help is a great way to get to know somebody, for one, or to allow yourself to look at it on the fence and listen to what somebody says that doesn't have any, I've said this a couple times now, any skin in the game, don't have anything that's going to make them different by your reactions to this. So don't be afraid to ask for help. It's one of the things that we've often been taught not to do, when it should be something we're doing all the time. You have to rely on other people. You can't be the expert at everything. You can't know everything. You can't look at things objectively a lot of times, and that's where the help comes into play. So part of making peace with life is asking for help and listening to that help and offering help to people when they need it and giving help to people when they ask you for it. That's beautiful. Most people are not afraid to help if you ask them for it. So please, please, please ask for help. It's great. It's wonderful. It makes you and the other person feel wonderful. So beautiful thing right there. Now, I'm going to go back to my traffic situation the other day. I am a notorious slow driver. Not slow like I'm blocking traffic or anything. I drive a little bit over the speed limit, not much. I'm not zipping in and out of cars. I call this, there's a song that talks about life in the fast lane. I call this life in the slow lane. I like to get in my car, drive, listen to music. I love to listen to my music in the car. That's one of the best places to listen to music ever, because you can create your own concert in your car with you singing. You're the lead singer. You can sing. But I'm not going to rush and endanger my life because I just want to get someplace quicker. I know several people are different than that. A lot of people like to drive fast, and I don't know if it's the thrill or whatever. You have to ask them what the deal is about it. But for me, I'm more of okay, I'll take my time getting there. If it takes me a few extra minutes, I'm cool with that because that means I get to listen to one more song along the way, or maybe two more, depending on how long the trip is. But think about that when you're driving. Is it worth it to go so fast that you might cause an accident, not only to you, but to somebody else, hurt them? Um, how awful would you feel about that if that happened to you or to somebody else? But just to take your time a little bit. You know, I often think about these self-driving cars and how I'm a little leery of them, but they're making great strides in them. But how awesome it'd be to just get in a car and go and not have to worry about dodging traffic and things like that, but just let the car do it in that sense, and you could relax on the drive. Because how many people's drives are actually relaxing? When we're talking about life in the slow lane, how many of your drives are actually relaxing? And that's what I try to do with every one of my drives, is to take my time, listen to the music. I love to think when I'm driving. I love to come up with ideas, things like that. It's a great way for me to get in touch with my inner self in that way. And obviously, you still have to pay attention to the road, still have to look at, watch the traffic and things like that. Don't miss my exit. I can get off if I have a passenger in the car and I get off talking. I guarantee I'm going to miss my exit because I'll get in deep into a conversation with them and then I'll miss the exit for sure every time. It always happens. So, but as far as that goes, sometimes we just need to slow down, take our time, enjoy the scenery around us, watch the beautiful stuff go by as you're going around, look at other people, sing, have fun, and enjoy the life in the slow lane. I know I personally enjoy it. Again, I'm not here to preach and to tell you, everybody slow down, stop going so fast, but I'm here to tell you that it benefits me. I arrive to my destination without being stressed. I'm not going 100 miles a minute like I'm running or anything, but I allow myself enough time to get to the place that I'm going safe and to listen to some great music on the way. So now the last thing I want to talk about today, is that all life is just a small piece of your life. And that's one of the topics in the book, Make Peace with Life, which you can get on Amazon if you want, or read with Kindle Unlimited. I love Kindle Unlimited. Read the book, pay a monthly fee, read as many books as you like. I love Kindle Unlimited. But all life that comes across your life is a part of your life. And that's a big, mind-blowing thing to think about, that everything that comes across your life has some form of effect on your life. And yes, the big things, the people you work with, your family, your friends, those are big things. And you understand that their lives affect your lives and how you react. But there's a lot of things out there, that just little things that happen that come across our life that might have some impact on your life that you don't even realize. When you bump into somebody, you get the wrong order at McDonald's or wherever you go to eat, and how that changes your perception of life in just a moment. And then you think, was there a reason for that? Was there a reason I got that? I often think of this, when, God, this seems to be keep going back to traffic and things here. But I think about this often when something happens and I have to take a little different route to work. Maybe I have to go down a different street. Maybe my exit is closed. Maybe they're doing construction or something. And I often think, was that put in my life to help me avoid something? Maybe there was going to be an accident down the road. Maybe I was going to be in an accident down the road. And that little detour that was thrown to me helped me avoid something that would have been traumatic in my life. Now that's an extreme example when you're looking at it that way, but when you come across somebody and their life interacts with you, maybe you just bump into somebody on the street. You don't know them, you don't get to know them, you don't ever have any other interaction with them. You think, I often think, I was like, why did that happen? Why did it happen? Was it just dumb coincidence that we just bumped into each other, or was there a deeper meaning behind that? Life is a funny thing, and I think there's so many deep meanings to everything that happens that sometimes we don't really understand the full scope of it. I know there's many things that have happened to me in my life that I thought were superficial, that weren't important, that didn't really matter, that have come back and go, oh, now I understand why that happened. Dreams are a great one. You know, sometimes you have a dream and you're like, what the heck was that about? And then later on, you might figure it out. Or um, something happens in life uh, to make you think differently about what's going on. Maybe your electricity goes out for some reason, and it is there a reason for all this stuff? Is it just dumb luck? I don't think in the way that I visualize things, I don't think that there's just dumb luck in that sense, and that things just happen um, for the heck of it. I think there's a deeper meaning to a lot of things in our life that we don't understand, and that we just kind of bypass as we go through our life, and not really focus on them until later on, and we might see that, hey, how that impacted um, my life. Maybe I know one year I went to get a turkey for a Thanksgiving meal, and they were out of turkeys, but yet I found this amazing chicken breast that I got, and it was like, oh my gosh, that was so delicious. So in that sense, I was like, I would have never found that turkey, that chicken breast, had I went and got the turkey like I was supposed to. So are a lot of the things that we witness in life messages, ways to steer us in a different direction, or, you know, they could just be dumb luck. I don't want to think that way, but I think that there's a collective to everything that happens to us in our life, and even the little tiny things that happen, I don't think they're little tiny. They're not unimportant. um, you know, the scrapes, the bumps, the bruises that we get along the way as we're growing up, they teach us things. They teach us how to be safer. um, the accidents we have as we get into our adult time teach us to be leery of things. When something bad happens, it opens our eyes to, you know, maybe your house got broke into or something like that. It opens your eyes to, maybe I need to be a little more cautious. Driving again, we're going back to driving. You know, if you have a near accident, you pay a little more attention, or um, things like that. I think they add up, and they mean more to us than what we really know, and subconsciously they really work us into the position we're supposed to be in. I know there's so many lessons that I've learned from things going wrong in my life. I think those are some of the best teachers in life. So as life comes at you from different angles and different people that come into your life, I don't think it's just by coincidence. I think we're supposed to learn something from them, as little and as slight as it might be. I think we're supposed to learn something from them. Um, I don't just think people happen to pass with just no reason at all. I think there's a much deeper, deeper meaning to all life, and how our life interacts with all other lives. I think this is a lot deeper and broader picture than there ever was. But who knows? I would love to hear your take on that. Again, send us an email. Let us know what you're thinking, or if this is just too much for you to consider. Let us know these topics that you want to hear. I love speaking to you guys about these things, these metaphysical things where there's not necessarily a right answer, but there's a lot of questions. I've often said, and you'll hear me say it a lot, that I'm not necessarily looking for answers, because to me, answers are a stopping point. Found my answer, I'm done. Searching, I'm done. I like to follow questions that lead to more questions, and to make me question other things. because that keeps life going. That keeps your inquisitive mind thinking, keeps you searching for more and better in your life. So that's a little deep part of me there. So look for those questions out there. I know I love doing these podcasts. I could talk and talk forever. I'm breaking them down, trying to keep them in under a half hour at least, and to just keep saying the good things and to bringing light into this life. And hopefully you're getting something good out of this, because I'm getting something good out of this, because I'm getting to talk to all of you out there. And that's very, very powerful for me. So again, make peace with life. Go to the website, see what we got brewing over there. Lots of good things are going to be popping now that we're officially underway and we're running and we're getting things going. I'm hoping to bring more and more into this community, get more and more interaction. That's one of the big things. I want more and more interaction. I'd like to eventually lead up to having some kind of live event around to meet people and get out there. So go over to the website, check it out, listen to all the other podcasts. The shortcasts are on Wednesday, so they're just little tiny podcasts. The big podcasts are on Sundays, so you can check those out every week. We'll have one of those pop up. So make peace with life. Go to the website, do the fun stuff, share this message with everybody you know, and you guys have a great one. And again, have peace with life. Make peace with life.